You played like plats for the last 5 minutes. Which makes sense because you are in plat, but let's get you out of plat. So are you playing solo here?
No. I'm playing Nougat. I play with him often, and then No Miso. We found him on Dream Team.
Well, it was you weren't dropping, but do you have any idea why you dropped here? Like all of you dropped in the same building?
I'm pretty sure cause like I don't know the distance that I can get from my teammates when dropping. Like what's an acceptable distance? So I've just been trying to keep close to everybody, especially on drop.
But when you loot, you just want to divide it into like 3 spots, especially if you're full team. Just ping where you loot. Everyone pings like sort of one area. Usually in this game there are 3 lanes to every loot spot. Rig is huge, for example, but it doesn't really matter because you can still make it like 3 lanes.
We're about to get third party if we stay here any longer.
Let's just leave.
60 on per.
This is a bad fight to take.
Go this way.
They have high ground. We can't really do anything. Oh, they're fighting someone.
Good decision so far.
We can go take that over there. We can go take that over there.
I downed them down here. I downed a purple.
You should have portaled for that.
Yeah,
finish.
I got this guy.
Right now, what you could have done like 10 seconds ago, just put the portal here. Put a portal here, jump down, finish the guy. You can even kidnap him, but just get a portal on him, finish him, grab like the purple or something.
I think I do. I think I.
Alright.
I don't know if I think yeah.
It's not my ult.
Alright.
It's not my ult.
It's very late though. But at least you made the right call.
Down there.
Oh, you even got finished. Yeah. That's free loot right there. I don't know. Have you opened the map? I haven't been thinking about it too much. I'm gonna assume you're central in the zone right now. I have no idea. Yeah, there we go. Do you know where this ends?
It ends up top.
Where?
Artillery?
Yeah, it ends on this building. It's like super. It's like one of the easiest zones in the game.
There's already a team up.
I don't know exact like buildings, but I understand like the basic pulls, how it just pulls the slow side.
Yeah, you have good loot now, so you could just literally opt to go take a position if you want. You know, don't have that many kill points, so you can also look for like a rotation kill or a freebie or something. But it's
okay.
Pure chaos here. There's teams everywhere, as you've noticed, so you obviously don't actually want to stay and take like, because you take a fight. You mentioned it several times already. You take a fight right now, there's gonna be like 20 teams on you. But if you find like a clean third party, maybe the fight on the high ground there on the left could have been clean.
I think that's one of my biggest like things that I struggle with is knowing when to fight and when to just run away.
Yeah. I feel like you guys are loot goblining a little bit too much because this is already looted as well, so you won't find good loot. And there's fights everywhere around you. The decisions you have here in this instant isn't loot, run away, or fight, right? It's literally just fight or like go rotate. Like if you would have gotten artillery a bit early, maybe you could have tried to get scraps there, but you shouldn't be looting scraps outside of zone when you have 2 purples and pretty decent guns.
Do you think I have decent amount of light ammo?
That was on
no.
Like attachments and stuff?
Definitely not attachments.
So we can make our way up to Hill House. If you
but it's more like you won't find anything good looting something that's already looted, because they're obviously gonna be looted once before, so all the good stuff, like at best you get like a white something, maybe a blue something, and it is just not worth the time you're wasting here. Like you could have been running to artillery, you could have been taking a fight or something instead. It's also very risky. If you win a fight, obviously fighting is risky, but you know for your time, if you do win a fight, you'll get loot. There's no guarantee you'll get the loot you need here, like attachments and such.
I don't think I was confident in winning a fight here.
No, I get that. But I mean, it probably wasn't a good plan to fight here anyways, because there's 3 teams in the middle. Like those were your options. The best option, however, would be to take artillery or take a good spot by artillery or just holding them out. You can even portal for a free pip, all of them ape each other.
Full team here. Yo, what? Literally 1 HP on this wraith.
Wow, what a good teammate. 1 HP, by the way.
Yeah, he does that all the time.
Yeah, you literally overextended. If that Watson would have beamed, you would have died.
Before we get third.
Yeah.
Let's run that fight again. Lots of decisions here. So the first thing I wanted to call out was literally right here. Because when you run Wraith, like I guess this could be because like you said, you didn't feel confident to fight. But as a Wraith, You should never be in the back, you should be in the front. Yeah, in an ideal fight, you take the helm, you run in first, you do as much damage as possible, you queue back, your teammates clean up the rest while you bat up, and then you re-engage together. Then on top of that, something to keep in mind is, I learned this from Noises, is not only do you want to be, you're basically like bait. You run in first, the enemy team shoots you, you try to shoot them back, and then you try to stay alive. That's the most important part. It's not important getting a knock. Obviously it's preferable, but at the end of the day you have to get out of it alive so you can reset and fight with your team. So I don't know how much this mattered. The positioning here wasn't the best, but I mean, like I said, he called the Brave was 1 HP, so it made sense. But you're getting blasted from the side. If that guy would have had been a little bit more accurate, you would have died there.
Before we get third.
Bum bum. Okay, that's your idea of a clean backpack, I guess.
4 medkits, 8 cells, 8 smalls, 4 bigs.
You generally do not need more than 1 stack syringes. Obviously you have so much free space, I guess it didn't matter. The most important heals in the game are shield heals, because you will get cracked a lot more than you'll take health damage. With that in mind, obviously you have a lot of space, so now I'm just telling you for the sake of telling you, right? What I generally pack no matter what is 2 medkits and 4 syringes. No, nothing more.
So when you're like playing scrims and tourneys, that's what you try to keep?
Yes. Then the number 1 healing item you want is a battery, then it sells. If you have nothing else to pick up, there are no ordinances or anything, just slap some light ammo in there. It never hurts to fill out with. Like if you need a filler, it's like rice in a meal, you know, it's never too much. I just want to paint a scenario for you. So this probably didn't happen, but this could have happened. There were 6 squads left, but it could have happened. There are free ways of getting into artillery from here before the zone closes. There's this choke, and there's like the wall over here. If there were 3 teams with like a Watson or Caustic, they could have taken that choke and camped it, that choke and camped it, and that choke and camped it. Then all of a sudden, you won't be able to get in, right? How do you deal with that? A, you actually fight the team, or B, you're there before they are. That's why I stress rotating as early as possible. So that's one way to do it, you play early. Then you can decide to play the edge. This is also because you didn't have the decision right. So obviously if you want to play the edge and camp teams out, then I guess you could loot, but it didn't really seem like you were doing that. You were sort of just running around. So you could also just approach this in the sense that you play this high ground, wait for teams to come up, like late rotators, and you just mop them up. That works as well, especially in ranked. People generally will not leave their spot in zone if it's a good one. So let's say the Caustic team, the figurative Caustic team I mentioned in the earlier thing, right? Let's say they're actually camping in here and they hear the shots. Because it's outside of zone, they might be very less inclined. They don't want to leave their spot because someone else might take them from them.
Yeah, I've seen that watching a few scrims.
Yeah.
They're over there. They went down.
They ported to you.
You guys are not watching your back. This is just some basic team play stuff. Not sure how much it applies to you. Just someone has to watch your back.
Let's leave. Just come over here. Over here.
I'm weak.
Yeah, this is a good decision. You're gonna get shot from the high ground. You're gonna get shot from the Caustic team. You could have taken the portal here instead.
They have a Kraber.
If all of you would have jumped through the portal, you would have gotten through without any risk. Right now, you're getting shot at by 2 teams at once. You didn't get punished for this, but I mean, it could have been like a rat team here or whatever, right? It could have screwed you up a lot when you could have just had the house.
Oh, that would have been bad.
Yeah. Playing this edge is just a bad decision when there's so much free space. It's really what I'm trying to say as well.
I'm gonna play.
Like you could have been up and checked that house and seen if it was open. Like just make sure there's open space. And now you guys are just in shambles, getting shot from 3 angles. It's just a general, like that's, like I said, typical plat plays. Plats usually do that. They just sort of sit in corners, and that's sort of a valid play. But like I've mentioned, you have no control of the map. You have no control of the outcome of the game from your position, because you have to play at such a disadvantage, so nobody will actually, like, you'll just get bullied from your spot. Now you're out in the open, which isn't really your fault, but
yeah,
they did. Yeah, I should not have been up there.
They jumped off.
Okay, let's just jump back a bit. So you died here because you had nowhere to go. You played like plats for the last 5 minutes. Which makes sense because you are in plat, but let's get you out of plat. So it's fine. You didn't have the idea of where it would pull, right? It's fine to play behind corners if you know, if you sit in a corner or you just sit still and do nothing. That's 1 second. You could have been looting, doing damage, scouting, anything. So if you decide to sit in a corner or sit behind a small piece of cover or something and do nothing, it's a calculated risk. if you're inside the zone in like one zone ahead and you just sit in a corner and hide, that's fine, because while you're not really getting anything, you're not losing anything, because time isn't like, you don't have pressure from time to move up, if that makes sense, you know? You don't actually have to go somewhere. But right here, you are not waiting for circumstances to change. With some map knowledge, you would have known it would have ended around here, because they don't end down here, and you could have been scouting ahead and tried to find like a passage for your team to make it through. There's tons of teams alive still, but let's say you took this house earlier, about here. If you were taking this house right now, there was nobody here, you would have been able to probably walk all the way up here, look around, and scout ahead and see where can we actually go. Knowing that it pulls north now in retrospect, you could have just sort of walked up north, looked around, seen, oh, is this free? So at this point, you could have portaled up all the way around here, looked around, gotten a firm grasp of all the teams, where all the teams are, because there's 5 squads. You already know where 2 of them are. There's a fair chance you could have taken this hangar earlier, or top of the hangar, or something. But instead, because you opted to sit here, you didn't have the information, and it's all snowballed into you finding yourself in the middle of the zone with no cover and no game plan. If you want to call it a topic, or the theme of what went wrong this game, is, I guess, lack of planning. And this doesn't really matter. Like, if you're in a really casual game, or in a pub game or whatever, you know, you don't have to plan ahead, right? You can just walk at people and shoot them and whatever. But when things are at stake, people try to be ahead of zone, at least a little bit. And the only way of countering people playing like this, holding chokes, holding high grounds, is by being there before them. Because you generally cannot take a fight on the chokes or on the high grounds, because you will get third partied.
Yeah.
So if you would have decided to walk to artillery, obviously this would be the boring decision, but you had a good chance to walk to artillery at this point. You were probably the only ones there, or would have been the only ones there, or maybe one squad, and that would have given you any position you wanted. You wanted high ground, if you wanted like the bunker, or anything really. If you would have had the correct information, you could still make it out of this alive, or at least not with not getting shot by 4 angles at once. It's simple as that, really.